Been here all morning. It ain't much, but it's honest work.
It's time to meet the Muppets on the Muppet Show tonight.
All the time, I get asked by very sweet people, Felix, how is it that you find the follow through to finish all of these unhinged projects that you start? I'm a person who starts a project and then I get like part of the way through and then I don't finish it. To which I would say, oh, sweetheart, I do that all the time. I just don't show you. Today, and for the next foreseeable few days, I will be working on some unfinished projects. I am not excited about this, but I would like to be excited about it. Let's see what we have in the old bin. We're just gonna pick a couple of these, because if I was to do all of them, I don't have the time to do that. So this is a tiny doll dress for a doll that I'm trying to make look like St. Lucia, because my kid was obsessed with St. Lucia, an art doll that we have a few years ago last year. This is a shirt that I need to put appliques on for one of my nibblings. My main, I actually need to finish it for real, oh my god project is this, which is a children's busy book that I have been working on since September of 2025. So it's gonna be really cute. And I really don't know what it is with me starting a project and then it's like, I just like lose the gumption about it. I don't know. Unrelated, my mother, past couple of years was diagnosed with ADHD. That's got nothing to do with me. I am a person who sees a project, works on a project, does the part of it I'm excited about, and then gets to the part where I'm like, I don't want to do that. And then forget about it for almost a year, it seems. I have the inner pages of that busy book. Oh, here's some blocks I was painting for my kid. You all probably remember this. Christmas advent calendar desperately needs to get finished. Fishing pole, which I actually hope will be one of the ones that we get to do, because I think that this would be a really sick birthday present for the child, as his birthday is coming up very soon. It is, I got it from the Goodwill bins. It's broken, obviously. I gotta make a bobber for it and then make some fish, and I recently got some magnets to use for this project. So, I mean, I was needing magnets, so this one's really not crazy, but I could have cut out or started making fish, and I've not yet. But I would have had to hand sew them, and now I've been using my mother's really nice sewing machine that has like a free motion foot, so that'll probably be better anyway. Here's the center page of that busy book, and I think the busy book is what we will be working on next. I do feel like I need my kid to stress test it a little bit. Here is some original footage I have from when I started working on this and thought that you were going to see it. It is going to be weird and disjointed because it was part of another video that will never see the light of day. Not because it was bad or anything, but because it's been so long and it's just super not relevant anymore. But here's that. Okay, we have the rain cloud tubing stuff. This was some mesh tube that I got at, I think, the Dollar Tree a million years ago. I think for the baby's birthday party, actually. These strips are from a thrifted bag that I had. This was like the strap for the bag, and it was terrible quality, but I wanted the bag because it was little. It was an ice cream sandwich shape, but I didn't want it to have this goofy strap on it, so I just cut it off. Oh, this one was the popsicle, but it doesn't matter. These are beads that I bought new on purpose. This is part of what was on that clear bag that I used for the outside, that I used for the squishy inside beads thing. And then this is felt, and then this is hot glued these as like a unit inside, you can kind of see here, inside of this. And then I've glued this down to this, which is the back page. This is the front of that page. It says pop socket with the sun and these clouds, and it spins and it pops. And so this is this side of it, and it's gonna have this little cute valley land portion, and then this will say rain clouds up here and have the rain clouds and then push up and down. So right now I just need to attach this to here, and eventually these will be blanket stitched all together, and so will this bottom part to the page. So I'm really mostly focusing on gluing along like this edge and like here. And then yeah, I think I'm gonna have my kid, my kid yank on this a little bit, see what happens, and then I will get to work on this busy book for a baby that I care a lot about, and unfortunately showed this baby's mother this once I finished it because it looks dope, and like I'm gonna have the rest of the book done soon, and then that just like didn't happen. So we have this page. This is gonna be like the end page. I just need to do the first page and also the front and back, which I think will just be like decorated. I don't think they're gonna be interactive, and I don't even remember what I was gonna do for the front part. It could be anything. So let's go. Yeah, I didn't even know that this part could come apart, but my beautiful baby figured it out immediately. The first thing. It also spins up here, so I'm just gonna like not hot glue, but super glue this into the things, and I think that'll fix that. He didn't yank too much on this, and I'm hoping that the other baby also won't. So, but I did sew them down a little bit, because I'm just, I don't know. I'm remembering now. This is an up close of the star thingy. Connect the dots with string. What I was gonna do for this page was a hurricane, because this baby lives in Alabama, a hurricane map. So I think it would just end up being like a stacking Velcro. It's not gonna make any sense for me to explain it. The vibe is it'll be kind of like a rainbow and kind of not. But yeah, I think I could make it so that they'll stack on top of each other. And then this will be the front page. We've got the drying glue in it. And then this will be the back. Oh, we'll see. Okay, I've traced the color that I want to be like the main color of the hurricane tracker background. So like it's on land, right? Okay, this is the base. We've got body of water because that's where the hurricane comes from, right? It has to build over water, becomes a tropical storm, right? So it seemed important. It's kind of looking Louisiana-ish, weirdly, which isn't right because that wouldn't be next to water. Anyway, you guys get it. Okay, and if you've seen those hurricane tracker things, it's kind of like, there's like a big-ish, circle-ish, it's big and circle-ish, and I'm gonna put them on top of each other like stacking rings but flat, right? So I'm just gonna make a shape that can go on top of, because it's like blue, green, yellow, orange, red, right? Like a regular rainbow, but it's like the intensity of the wind speeds maybe? I don't know if that's what it is, but I'm gonna kind of, right, sort of like see if I can get it to line up in a way that kind of makes sense. I am not a meteorologist, and this baby's mom is, so it'll be funny for me to be like, and this is what a hurricane could look like, because I'm probably wrong, but that's okay. Zhuzh that up a little bit. And then I really feel like the blue, I should have done this the opposite way. I should have started small and then built out. Well, it's too late for that, brother. I do feel like there's usually not that much blue, like dark blue. So I'm gonna make this kind of a thinner piece here as it goes. What? That's so funny that I didn't do it the other way. I'm gonna leave these two for now, and then working on my other colors, red to yellow to orange. Because I can't believe I did that. That's so silly of me. Okay, because yeah, red is gonna be like the main. Oh, it's kind of like a heart. That's sort of sweet. Orange. This is sparkly orange, or it just was against a sparkly one. Kind of funny. Yeah, I can't wait for Caroline to tell me what cat this would be. Okay, that's looking great. I'm just going to clean up the yellow a little bit so that it lines up better. So that presumably a child would be like, here is ish where this one should go. Because this is so many layers of felt, I don't think it needs / would make sense for us to do like double layers of it. because this is already this thick. If we were to make it twice that thick, it would be a problem. So maybe sew a couple of these together. This is giving hurricane to me. God, is it too like, maybe it's not giving hurricane. Everything in this book is already so thick. Sewn down, it'll be a little flatter, but not like that much flatter, especially when this is already, Okay, it's this is gonna be a pocket that holds these pieces, and then this one's gonna go down. I'm basing it off of a storm tracker picture vibe that they have. It's like all gray on the bottom, but these are just like less colorful, I think, so that's fine. So anyway, yeah, this is the water. I'm gonna put the green part down, and then I'm gonna have the yellow and the orange and the red pieces be ones that she can like stack on top of it. So I think I'm gonna free motion sew this is the dream, but we will see. If it's not obvious, I switched to this because it is much flatter. Like this, it was twice as thick the other way. It'll probably still end up being too thick, but here we are, you know? Okay, I did decide to put all these pieces together so that there'd be less for the small child to lose, and also so that it can just have like one string that it's attached to keep it on the busy book. So the idea is that it'll live inside of this pocket on a string, get pulled out, and then go here. And that's where the storm watch is. Beep, 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 beep. This silly little part embroidered, and I'm gonna sew just here so that it's a slide pocket. Okay, so I've got these attached to strings so that they can live in their little pocket and then be put up here, and the string I think will be attached underneath this. And what I'm realizing is I should have attached these under this first. That would have been smartest. Although honestly, maybe it makes the most sense to attach them. I don't know. Actually, I could also do it underneath, like behind if I wanted to. Maybe behind makes the most sense. All this to say, yeah, I think I'll do behind. Okay, here's how this is looking. And then there's stick it in the pockets. Pocket. Oh my God. It's really easy to do with one hand, so. Okay, you guys know this. I am a Nepo baby only as it pertains to printer products and ink products. The thing that my father brought home today is printer sheets from the early 2000s, 1990s, whatever, that are for projectors. Like you print the sheet out, you put it up, it projects it. And what I've done here is printed out my beautiful friend. And I will be making a tiny television with a flip up, and then it's my friend who's a meteorologist. I'm so excited. This is gonna be incredible. Okay, I've got these on white. Now I just need to use my mom's industrial sewing machine to sew them to fabric, which I think is gonna be cutesy. Okay, what we've done is printed it on the overhead projector paper, sewn it to white felt, and then also laminated it. Now, I hear what you're thinking. You say, Felix, couldn't you have just printed this and then laminated it and gotten functionally the same vibe? To which I would say no, because this, you can see the texture of the felt underneath it, which I think is really neat. So consider that. Also, it looks a little bit three-dimensional. You can't really tell on camera because it's like image on top of felt, which is fun. So of course, you won't be able to see light through it because it'll be like a TV flippy thing on, I think, the front page of the busy book. So anyway, I laminated over the top and then sewed again because we don't have the heat lamination stuff. It's like this sticky on both sides. And I thought that this would be too thick and it would pop off, which I still think that it will, but I just wanted to keep it like really secure on there. I think it looks so cute. 2 black rectangles, one each will be the, well, you know what? I've done this again where I really only need one because this is just going to be on, this is the back of it. Ugh, ignore me. Okay. Regardless, I need two of these that have holes cut out in them, and then one to be the back of this one that has the back of this one that has the WKRG thing on it. I guess, sorry for the jump scare if you live in Mobile, Alabama, and you're now seeing your favorite weather girl. This is my sister-in-law who is a meteorologist, so. Oh, God. If you've never cut a hole in felt when you need to keep the edges intact, it's just something that you get better at doing. I fold it in half, and then I cut out enough of a chunk in the center to, like, move my scissors around. One thing that I find with working on a craft project like this, especially if it's something that, like, I've never done anything like this before. Like, right, like, I've done, like, flip pages and, like, busy book things, but I've never done, like, take a laminated, you know what I mean? Is just go slow, and if you mess it up, then we just start over that part that got messed up, right? So be extra slow when it's something that you do not have the ability to fix, you know, like when I was sewing through this paper and through the laminate, I was like, this is a little stressful, but also I could have just printed it again, you know, like that wouldn't have been the end of the world. This will be significantly more annoying if I try to sew the TV part of it and it messes it up, because then I'll have to like reprint the whole thing and resew the whole thing. But even so, like, it's not a life or death situation. Like, we're all gonna be okay. And if, like, the edges are a little bit off of this because of the way that felt is, you know what I mean? Like, that's not a huge deal. I'm going to fix this a little bit because this I got, like, a little farther out than I meant to. The other thing about anything is that you can always cut more. You can never cut less. So it is just generally a good idea when you're cutting to be, like, uber, super slow. Yeah, I kind of wish I could do, well, maybe I'll glue stick this because I'd like for it to be, like, that's going to be tough to get it to stay in the same spot. You know what I mean? So I think glue stick makes the most sense as opposed to heat and bond, which I can't heat up this laminate because I think it would melt it probably. So now I'm just disappointed by everything else that I've worked on today because this is the coolest thing I've ever done. Can you imagine if your mom was a meteorologist and you had a little screen you could flip up? That's so cool. That's so silly. Okay. And then this is the one that's going to be on the thing. Yeah, and I think this can just be like the front of baby book. I think that's fine. Oh, here's the annoying thing about this book, though, is that that's not the center because it has this flompsy in it to make space for other things, which is great. So actually the center I should do based off of what it looks like in this, which would be different. So that's something I should keep in mind when we get there. But right now, I think I just need to glue these. All we really need is for it to, this is not going to be as quick drying. That's okay. I don't need to sew it tonight. This will probably be better than glue stick. Yes, no, maybe, possibly. Why do people use glue stick but not clear school glue for... I think it's because glue stick dries quicker. Let's get the glue stick. That is almost... It's like not having any if you can't find them. They're not in for sticking. That's where probably I would have put them. I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to do this. Famous last words. Okay. Flat. Nice. And stick and hold and squeeze and hold and squeeze. God, making these little TVs makes me want to play Little Nightmares 2. Any of y'all play Little Nightmares 2? They made a Little Nightmares 3, but I think it's not the same people working on it, but the people who made Reanimal are the ones who worked on Little Nightmares, and so it's sort of like a spiritual successor to Little Nightmares while not being the third one, actually. Anyway, I have been meaning to play it, but first we literally purchased Silent Hill F, or like Forte, or whatever it's called, and I really want to play that. We watched our two of our dearest friends play it last time we went to the cabin, and it was so fun to watch them play it. It was so interesting. I know everybody's like done being excited about Silent Hill F, but we got it when it was on sale for $40, and then I literally haven't had time to play it. But this is me soft launching that we've been thinking about. Maybe I would do like a play with me, like not stream of it, but like a let's play, like a video that's then like edited of like the interesting parts of the things that happen. So not like a stream of consciousness, me being live the whole time, but like chunks of the game. Although I will say that like I have a hard time with long projects like that, like committing to finishing something. Unrelated to my mother's ADHD diagnosis. But yeah, so I'm just not sure. I would want to make sure that I like really can do it. But that's also hard because like, is that even a video that would do well? Because if it was not going to get that many views, then like it wouldn't be worth it as like a time investment. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know. Let me know if that's the kind of thing you would be into. And then also know that I have to take your word with a grain of salt because you're already here. And thank you for being here. But your bar is already too low. I would say I generally have pretty good crafting self-esteem, but sometimes I make something and I'm like, damn, I need more people to be impressed by this because it's gonna be so cute. I also think this is a good size. In the past, I've learned that making too big of a busy book, you just either end up with dead space or you feel like you have to fill that space. I'd like to try to make another page for my kid's busy book before his birthday. I don't know. That will actually be possible. I really want to make him like a paper doll tutter page. So it'd be like flat tutter sewn down and then little outfits attached to strings that you can like choose which one like goes where. I think that's the kind of thing he'd be able to actually do now because he's just kind of getting to a place where he's like really intentionally putting like the correct thing where it goes. We have that Melissa and Doug ice cream thing that I had the base for it, and I was like, I'm gonna make ice cream for it, is what I had said before. And then a bunch of people were like, you can probably just find the ice cream pieces, and you can find them online. And then somebody local to us here in Salem was like, do you just want this set? Because like I have it, and my kids are not playing with it anymore. And I was like, oh, are you sure? That would be amazing. And so now we have a full set also, and I need to do something with the other one that I got. That's another unfinished project. What was I saying? Oh, he just gotten to a point where he will like take a cone and like put the ice cream on it. And before he was just kind of like holding the pieces or moving the pieces. Like he'd like seen us put them on there, but he like wasn't very interested in it. And then he got to a point where he was like, put the ice cream on the cone. And then he was like, epic, which is how he says ice cream. He's like, epic. And I was like, this is amazing. And then I started doing like double scoops, and he was like, no, daddy, no, daddy, no. And then now he does this thing where he'll put like 4 scoops on it because Mimi goes, whoa, and he thinks that's really funny. So he'll like come up to you and be like, whoa, with like 4 scoops of ice cream. It's very cute. Incredibly cute behavior of him. Okay, this is it. This is the front. So to put this down needs to be like here-ish. Because it's also hard because I'll be sewing around the edge. If it's not perfectly centered, I don't think Caroline is going to rake me over the coals. I think she'll be like, wow, this is incredibly cute and insane that you did this for my kid. Shaloop, shaloop, shaloop. God, and I guess just my hope and prayer is that when these dry, they just stick enough to keep it where I'd like them to be. God, I don't know what to put on the back, though. I just know that when I post this video, everybody's going to have all these genius ideas of what should have gone on the back, and I don't know. My brain really wants to put like a little like umbrella, or it doesn't need to be something interactive. It could just be the baby's name, now that I think about it. As you may have been able to guess from the foreshadowing, the glue did not go well. The glue stick is what was needed. I did find my glue stick. The hard thing that I've learned about sewing through something that is so thick, like hard thick, is that you sort of have to sew the outer part first that doesn't have the thickness in it to like stabilize that fabric and then sew up onto the hard part. And that worked very well for me. Previously, I was trying to get it pinned down here first, and it just kept on like wombling around. Also, I think was not helped by this. The glue stick was really crucial. I don't know what it is, but glue stick is like stickier and works better. So this is what we have. I think it's pretty dope. Okay, so obviously like this, right? And so this one is going to be against here, and so that's kind of dealt with. And then this one is going to be here. So those will just be attached in there. But for this part, I need to put something soft that this is, I guess, sewn to get it to live in the middle there. And then this is how it's going to be. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, I've got this marked where the center needs to be, and I'm going to hot glue to get it to stay there. And I've done for the back, I ended up doing some zippers. They're not like anything special, but they're cute, and I think that they will be fine, so. Yeah, there's not a different way I could have done this, but I've got this big thick thing on one side of it, so it's going to be harder to line this up than I'd initially dreamed of it being, but that is okay. Maybe one small thrill. They're watching Best Little Whorehouse in Texas upstairs. It's an excellent film. Okay. Lined it up at the top and the bottom, and I'm just gonna hold it. Maybe one small thrill, but there's nothing dirty going on. I think it's most important to me we get like the 4 corners of it, but it doesn't need to be like tacked down because it's gonna be sewn, right? So like functionally, like it will be held because it'll be inside of this. If anybody has found a really excellent glue that sticks to fabric and also hard flat surfaces, let me know. Attaching fabric to non-fabric items is the bane of my craft existence. Beautiful. That is what I wanted. That is fine. I'm fine with that. That is attached enough to me. For the center, we need this to attach somehow. I feel like it might be best to take a strip of fabric widthwise, sew this to it, put it down here, put it on the thing, and then sew the pages on top, which would mean that I'll have to wait to do that part because I really don't want to fucking do it right now, as opposed to just gluing these down and letting them like sit and wait. So the wrench in my plans, but that's okay. It's all right. We will come back to it. I do think it's going to be really cute. Like, shut up, okay? Get out of town with that. Really precious. I don't know if I'm gonna have poles on these. I'm not sure. I mean, obviously this is like a zipper, so like it's fine, but they're just hard to get with my big adult fingers. So little tiny baby ones, you know. Makes a fun noise. Okay. The wildly unhinged thing that I did to make my perfect, it's not perfect, but it's great, little fishing pole bobber. I needed a really strong magnet, and I didn't have strong magnet. And so I cracked open one of these bad boys, which you can do with a hammer, although it's harder than you would think. And I now have the pieces. I have them stuck because they're very small, very strong magnets. So I've got them stuck to said hammer. And then this is a bobber with a magnet in it. Don't look at the side, it's ugly. This side is cute. And I need to make fish. And I found an image of a fish, and then I drew on it on my phone to make sort of the shapes that I wanted. And now I'm going to cut out some fish and then make felty patterns of them. My process with felt is almost always take an image, print out multiples of that image. Sometimes they're different sizes, but once I land on the size that I want, I do multiples of that. That way I can cut up the piece of paper into many pieces, trace it onto pieces of felt, cut out those pieces of felt, use them to make the thing. These are going to be fish for our fishing pole situation, which is going to be a birthday present for my 2-year-old. In the distant future, I would love to make him like a mat situation, like a play mat thingy that is rug tufted that is like a pond or like a water something. These, I think, are a largemouth bass image that I pulled off of Wikipedia, and then I traced just with my finger on my phone. If I had an iPad and a pencil, like an eye pencil something, it would be over for you guys. But I just outlined it kind of badly so that I could still see the shapes when I cut it up and I print it out in grayscale. The vision with this is I'm going to make stuffed little fish. Obviously a catch and release situation. I'm vegetarian, but I just think this will be a really cute, sort of insane sensory toy thing to play with. So I'm going to cut out the pieces, layer them where I want them to be, glue stick them down, and then once I have done that, we'll be letting them dry and then free motion sewing them on my mom's fancy machine upstairs. Normally when I'm doing a felt project, I am hand stitching. I don't want to. I've always, this is crazy. My entire life, I've been like, I'm not gonna learn how to use a sewing machine. Like, I love hand stitching. I love the way that it looks. Like, I'm very proud of my very neat stitches. And I still feel that way. And yet this is gonna be so much faster. It's gonna be absolutely unbelievable. So, you know, some things, this is the vibe. Sometimes it's not. And that's okay too. Chocolate soy milk that I've made with Winco chocolate syrup and Costco brand soy milk. So I'm basically living the high life right now. Shout out to my friend Holly, who has a Costco membership and went to the Costco. Okay, let's go, girls. Normally when I do a felt project and I make a pattern, I just use the paper and I keep cutting it up into smaller pieces. This time I traced it on this like folder, manila folders that we had, because I knew I was gonna make multiples of this same fish. Like if you're just doing it one time, the thickness of regular paper, it's like not a big deal, but I knew they would be absolutely trashed by the time I was done tracing a zillion times, so I just went ahead and did it on the bulkier paper. I've been toying with the idea of scanning in the pattern pieces for this and putting it just like up online as a free pattern on like a Ko-fi page that I would make that's like just all free stuff, but if folks wanted to donate, they could, like a pay what you can, but like primarily intended to be a free resource for folks and for parents and for whoever else. I don't know, let me know if that's the kind of thing you would be into. Because these are three-dimensional fishes, I obviously had to do both sides of them, and then this was before I decided I was gonna do like a center fin thing and also a bottom fin that I ended up doing that I think really sort of elevated it and made it look much cuter. And then I took it to my mom's fancy industrial sewing machine and just had genuinely the worst, most horrible time trying to get it to do free motion happily. I think there's a burr on her needle plate, and that is what part of the problem is. It's also why I'm the only one who's having this problem and not Morgan or my mom, because they're not using like the free motion aspect, and I feel like the needle moves a little bit more. Or maybe I've done something horrible and destroyed a part of her sewing machine. I don't know. I need to take it to get it looked at by somebody, but this was incredibly frustrating. Good morning. I just woke up and I'm crusty and tired. Here is what I found. Right now, I am doing glue stick. Right now I'm glue sticking my pieces of these guys so that they will all stay together so that I can sew them better. I added an additional chunk, this like fin thing, and I think it makes them cuter. And I decided it's gonna be the same color as the face color. But the glue stick is crucial because it keeps everything flat and together while you're sewing it. I had a conniption. I was using, as you can see, this is the worst side, the free motion sewing machine. We found out that my mom's sewing machine is having a problem, and it was driving me, like this side looks fine, driving me absolutely bananas. And so anyway, none of that matters. Right now, what I'm trying to do, because you can't sew through like wet glue stick, that doesn't work well. I'm cutting pieces of fish and I'm glue sticking them so that I can have them dry so that I can sew them later, or possibly tomorrow, probably just later. And then after that, I'll be moving on from fish project back to busy book project. To wait for these to dry, but that's gonna take a hot minute. I'm doing yellow, and then I'm doing, I think, also a brown one, and maybe we'll just have 4 fishes. I'm not sure yet. Okay, this is gonna be the center, and hot glued, and also sewn around the edges, and then this I'm going to sew to this ridge that I've made so that it will sit inside the book. And I'm going to use Yarn to sew it. Beefy. That I can never find the pliers, and I am always the one who has hidden the pliers. Always. Every single time. Without fail, it's me. God, I hate. So what I'm trying to do here is get it underneath the sewing machine line that I've sewn. As well as, God. Come on, girly, we can do this. Oh, fuck. Is this gonna have to be one yarn? I'd like it to be the strength of 2 yarns. Even so, we're gonna have to pull it through. Anyway, pliers can be very helpful when you're sewing through something that is like beefy. I keep being worried that I'm gonna do this upside down, and it's not actually possible to do that because I can just flip it the other way. So I need to get less scared. This is gonna be hellacious. Will this be possible? Hell yeah. Now what we need is to really securely attach these to this. And it's gonna be super fun, and I'm really excited about it, and I'm not annoyed at this task that I have given myself. There we go. Blood, I'm bleeding. I've been hit. God. Oh my God. Yeah, I'm gonna shift into time lapse for this because it's gonna take so long, and also because I would like to listen to my book. I'm listening to Eruption. It is a Michael Crichton, James Patterson book. The only reason I'm reading it is because it was immediately available on Libby, and I was like, okay, that's interesting. I didn't know those two guys were still alive, let alone writing together. I'll see you. So the yarn was driving me bonkers. And so I was like, screw it, I'm just going to use regular thread. And then the problem that I thought would happen, happened, which is that the thread broke. So now we're doing a tiny bit of surgery, just a little, on this to try to get it to stay. The thread like came undone, like snapped as I was pulling it tight, which makes sense. So we're just getting a little teeny dot of hot glue. Maybe we'll do a piece over the top once we've done this. Maybe we'll just do that now. I've really not nailed down sort of pages. Yeah, I'm new to busy books, not new to felt stuff. I am new to trying to make felt things that can withstand toddler pressure. And so, because the thing about this is that it needs to be attached enough that it stays, but also soft enough that it bends. But I think that's fine. God. Oh, yeah. This is cool. Okay, so yeah, this is what the other side's looking like. This is what this side's looking like. I'm comfortable with that. And I'm just going to sew through now the other way. Because before it was with this at an angle like this, as you can see, obviously. And now I'm going to do it like this. Yeah, I really wanted that yarn to work. One, because it would have been cuter. And I don't think I would have needed the hot glue. Although, honestly, maybe I would have done the hot glue anyway. Because I fear for tiny child hands in these situations, you know? I think this is fine. I'm going to tie this off here. And I'm just going to also hot glue on this side. Oh, the other thing that you missed was I put an eyeball on this fish. I had the right colors of sequins to do that. The right sizes and colors of sequins more. Because I just needed like a bigger white one. And then a smaller, darker color. I wanted black, but I had blue. And so that's what I used. And then I just sewed the sequin down really good with like 4 stitches on from the center out so that it would stay. Yeah, okay. See? So it's looking like that. And then this side's looking like this. And I'm going to glue it more on this side also. And then it'll go in the book like this. And it'll get glued down here to these. I'm going to make my child smack this around a fair bit because, I don't, the idea of giving a kid something that, none of this is gonna become dangerous pieces. I do know that, like, for sure. And we'll glue down this part a little bit better. In the oven, You'll never guess what I'm making. It's, you guessed it, a Dutch baby. It's like I have this like egg craving recently, and I've upped my testosterone dose. So I keep on joking that it's like testosterone making me crave it. There's not even like, I mean, obviously there's protein in eggs, but it's not like an absurd amount of protein. So I'm curious if, because I'm vegetarian, if I'm just craving like the only object in my diet that has cholesterol in it. Like maybe that's what it is, because I don't really eat cholesterol otherwise, because it's in, you know, animal products. It's taken me so long to do this project that I went from having literally no sewing machine knowledge to being able to use a sewing machine. And that's kind of fun. Maybe the projects that have been abandoned for a period of time were thus abandoned so that they could be done more competently with other skills once those skills were acquired. Maybe it's a best that you let that sit on a shelf for almost a year. Maybe that's better, you know? Okay, so now I'm gonna glue this and stick it here. God, I hope it doesn't pop out so far. I think that's fine. I mean, it's a little bit further out, but I think that's okay. Hot glue, hot glue, hot glue, hot glue, hot glue. If you're somebody who does like book binding-y type activities and you think that there's a better way to do this, I am so not, I don't know anything, so tell me. I'd love to hear it. This is right side up. This is the, yes, okay. God, can you imagine if we just glued it? Ah! Nice. Moved it down. Everything's cool. Nobody be scared. Okay, yeah. And then my dream is that because this is getting glued flat, and then also these pages will be on top of it and sewn glued flat, I think that that will keep this center part in it. This is literally my first time making pages in a busy book. I've only made like busy board type things before, and then also one that's just like a fold thing that opens up. That part still needs to bend, and this, where's my glue? Here we go. This part needs to go down. I'd say also the weird thing is that I can't let this get like too tight, because it has to be able to fold and have space. Yeah, I think this is it. I think this is it. This part has always gonna be needed to be soft. Yeah, okay. Now we're cooking with gas. Okay. These are the zippers on the back. Okay, and then before I put the pages on, in a perfect world, I would have something that would like close this. Although, does it really need to like snap close? You know what I mean? I guess just to take up less space, that probably would be best. I'm gonna let this hot glue situation, I know it's a little bit like wobbly here, but I think that's good, right? Because it needs to be able to bend. So this is gonna look homemade because it is homemade, and that's fine. Okay, I've chosen these cord organizers, hot glued here, and then I'm gonna put the pages hot glued and then sew them. I'm gonna trim this up a little bit first because I think it's, yeah, it's like sticking out from the outside right now. Okay, again, this is my first fish, so she's the ugliest, so don't judge her too harshly. We have to stuff it. I have sewn around here and hot glued a magnet in the mouth so that now, yeah, oh shit, will it not pick it up? Oh good, okay. Nice, perfect, yay. Okay, so I just have to stuff it, and then, yeah, and then I'm stuffing with, I think, chunks of felt that I've been using for this project, so that's great. Felt chunks. Yeah, this doesn't need to be like super even or super beautiful or whatever. And then we'll be doing a blanket stitch just because I think it looks cutest, not for any other reason. Which a blanket stitch is the one where you just you catch the stitch as you're going forward. It's like as you're coming up through, you hook this onto it and then you pull so that there is, it like catches it in a strand. It's easier to tell when you've got a couple, like this. Oh, yeah, there we go. So then it's like across. Guess I will also try to get my fishing pole will still pick it up, because it would be sad if it didn't. Yeah, hell yeah. Oh, so excited. This is going to be so cute. There's no such thing as a craft or an art project that is a waste, because I'm always learning something. So even if I do something and I hate it so much that I just completely rip it apart, it is still worth it because I learned what I need to do next time. All that being said, this fish's tail looks stupid. But my kid is not gonna notice or care. And it is structurally sound. Like that's a tail that's sticking together, you know? It is because I cannot get the tension to be right on Morgan's sewing machine for some reason. I don't know why we're having this issue all of a sudden. I'm not even going to begin to guess why that might be happening after I've been sewing felt for a hot minute. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. I should probably do the little, like, machine dust thingy, dust up the little, get the little pieces out, and also redo the bobbin and just rethread it. But I adjusted and got it mostly where I needed it to be. Now I just need to do a comparison of where the eyeball is on that other fish so that they can have similarly positioned eyeballs. But I've now lost my pole. I gotta sew an eyeball before I can hot glue. Is this hot glue gun on? Yeah, this fish's tail is much prettier. Although, the other half of him, not that much prettier. That is similar. And you know, all fish are different, right? So who even really cares? Now I have to make the decision if I'm going to have them all have blue eyes or if they'll have different color eyes. I think I'm just going to give them all blue eyes, because otherwise I'm going to think about it way too much, which color should go with which and what should be where. So, and you know what? They're fake fish anyway, because these are largemouth basses with no mouths. Thank God I got these sequins at a swap, because I've always wanted sequins. I've never wanted to have to buy sequins. You know how expensive sequins are? They're really expensive, especially for how much labor they are to deal with. Like, it's not like you just like pop it on and there you've got sparkle. It's like, oh my God, this is a whole process. Anyway, sequins, you know, shouldn't really be chewed on or swallowed by babies, nor should magnets. And I think my magnets are pretty secure in here, as are the sequins. But this is a toy that, I mean, it won't be. Oh yeah, and then I've been sewing the fin situation inside, you see? So just like with the sewing machine. And that's worked okay. All right, I'm sewing the other eye, hand sewing, and then gluing in my magnet. And the busy book I'm sick of looking at, so it's sitting over there out of my range of vision. So I don't have to think about it right now, because it's driving me bonkers. Magnet. God, magnet. Oh, shit. Magnet. Okay. Pinch. That's where the magnet is. That's where I've put it. There is in this one also. Ideally, all that I have left on this is to just sort of blanket stitch it until it's done. That's the hope, that's the dream. We're just going around. We're just going to use some regular thread. Maybe I'll throw some yarn in there. It's so many layers of felt that I don't feel super comfortable trying to do that. This thread is making me nervous, though. It's got a weird vibe to it. It's like vintagey, and so I'm scared that it'll crack and pop and be done. Although it's not really structurally doing anything, because everything is like hot glued flat. It is mostly making this edge look more finished. So I guess it's like probably fine. I don't know. Gonna in a moment hand this, when it's done, hand this to my toddler to see if he can destroy it. And in what ways he plays with it, because I feel like that's the other really funny thing about busy book type stuff or like kids' toys. It's like the way that you're intending for it to be used is not necessarily what they're gonna do with it. And sometimes they do something way more creative and fun and interesting than what you had ever even dreamed of. And that's because children are a treasure and a joy. As I'm spending all of this time making toys for the toddlers in my life, it is kind of funny because, like, you know, obviously one of these is a birthday present for my toddler, but we have like a no birthday presents ask on our birthday invitations. I doubt that people are going to actually do that, because we had that for his birthday last year, and I think every single person still brought a present because people really like to get presents for kiddos, which is very cool, very sweet of them. And I think I've been saying it's a consequence of the birth rate being so low is that like people are really excited to spoil the children in their lives because there aren't that many. There aren't as many as, I don't know, there were a couple of generations ago. But anyway, we love getting handmade things and are less excited about, you know, stuff that's been like just like purchased from a big store, partially because we don't want money going to big corporations, and then partially because it's just like cool when you get something, I feel, that's like handmade and like special for your kid. Oh, it was really funny. Somebody on Instagram was like, hey, I'm just really curious why you guys have like a no gifts rule for your 2-year-old. That's like the youngest I've seen a no gifts rule for. Like, do you mind explaining? And they really weren't asking like rudely. I think they were just genuinely curious. And I just thought it was hilarious because, you know, he's not really big enough to like notice whether or not he's getting presents, and so it's not something that I think we'll be able to get away with probably past this year. But I think we are going to try to emphasize to folks like, we would rather you make something ugly and fun and silly and like artsy that is from you than purchase something, because he'll be 3, like he won't care. But I just thought that was so funny. I'm curious if there are parents who have kids who've had no gift rules for older than like 2. How did you go about that? What was your vibe? Because also we just have, you know, so much stuff for him, and like I love getting, you know, like fun like souvenir clothing from people, or, you know, things that they've made or like whatever. But I know that like clothes for a kid who's like locked in, like an 8-year-old, you know, that's probably not as cool of a gift as whatever toys the children will be into at that time, you know what I mean? So anyway, if you're a house with kids who are slightly older, kids who are in like the elementary school age range, and you've done or tried to do like a no gifts ask on a birthday invitation, tell me how that went, because I'm nosy.
Is it recording?
It is recording. We're doing Summer House.
Here is the book
Yeah.
for Redacted.
Yeah.
Best enjoyed next to Summer House.
Yes.
We have
Flip.
Flip, 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 Philadelphia.
Yes.
Ooh, storms, sun, rain, stars, and of course, a zipper tornado.
Okay.
I think it's great.
Yeah. Can you show them how you close it?
Yes.
Yay.
Yay. I like the size of it.
You don't think it's stupid?
No.
I feel like the size might be a little
I
stupid.
thought it was, no. Also, I don't know if you know that she's actually a baby.
That's true. That's a good point. It's
She doesn't know what it's supposed to look like.
That's true.
So she thinks it's going to look great.
Yeah.
That's easy peasy. Ta-da.
Listen, I know the zippers aren't about the weather, but they're still
You
fun.
could put,
I thought about it.
well, she's so young though. I'd be scared.
For what?
Like for you to put like a shrinky dink on them or something.
Oh, I mean, it could be something made out of felt. Like I could sew just like tabs on there that are something that's relevant, but I just don't know what it would be.
I mean, you definitely could before we leave, but
Yeah.
maybe not before the end of the video.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, looks good.
Thanks. Been here all morning. It ain't much, but it's honest work. Give a toddler a felt fish, he'll have a felt fish. Teach a toddler to felt fish, and now that toddler can felt fish. I'm very happy with how this project turned out. I think the fish are really cute. I think that the magnet works better than I could have imagined. I love that it is repurposed magnet tiles, which are only things that I've also gotten from the Goodwill bins. That's what this pole is from. I have a sneaking suspicion that the fish may outlast the pole, because the pole is not made very well, but I think we'll get some fun use out of the pole until until its time comes. It says Cozy Bomb. What could that possibly mean? I'll have to look this up and see if it's from like I don't know, some really cheap ass set. But I think my kid will like that it does the spinny thing. I think the amount that it sticks with the magnet is perfect, because you do kind of have to like finagle it correctly. It's not like super easy to do, but it's not, I don't think it's overly difficult. My hope and my dream is that this is the kind of thing that he'll be into for a period of time. Maybe he won't at all. But I also think that I could expand upon it with like a bucket and worms and other bobbers, or you know what I mean? Like this could be like a whole like camping felt set situation, which is cool. This one blue fish, for some reason, the sequin is like rubbing off immediately. Like the blue sequin is becoming silver literally immediately. Very strange. I don't know why that's happening. This is my unfinished project that I was most excited about completing, and I am stoked. I think it'll be a good present for his second birthday. And if he's not that into it, that's okay. I had fun making it, and maybe he'll be into it later. I do still need to make some kind of container for it, which I think is gonna end up being, you guys know those like cutie oranges bags that look like the like net? I think I'm gonna take that, sew it to fabric, and make like a pole pouch that can fit, because this compresses pretty nicely, like it, so as long as I can make it, you know, this small, keep the fish in it, I think that rocks. Feels very Animal Crossing-y, which I also think is incredibly fun. And yeah, when I was looking for fish patterns on Pinterest, all I was able to find was weird AI generated felt fish patterns, which obviously weren't good because they didn't even look like the AI generated fish. So if this fish is a pattern to you that you would like to have, then let me know in the comments, and maybe by the time I get the short form for this up, I will post the fish. I hope you're doing well. I'm sorry the world is this way. Thank you so much for being here and for hanging out. We appreciate you so much. If you'd like to watch this video again but with no ads, you can check out our Patreon. We do a between like 15 and 40 minute, completely unedited, just like us chatting, talking, saying what's going on in our lives video every like 2-ish weeks. If that's the kind of thing you're into. We will also occasionally post additional content, like extended things from short form that eventually get cut down to like 30 seconds or whatever, but are like 8-minute long conversations of us making fun of each other. I hope you're having a good Wednesday, or whatever day it is, whenever you're watching this. And I have so many more unfinished projects that I need to do desperately, so look out for more of this content in the future, because I got so much stuff because I'm mentally ill. Okay, here's the bloopers. Love you, bye-bye. Mwah. Oh, where are my glue sticks? Oh, where are my glue sticks? Oh, where, oh, where, oh, where, oh, where, oh, where, oh, where, oh, where? Oh, maybe Elmer's glue, actually. Attaching, whoa. This is not the same color. This is not the same color. It's like a cold, or is it? It's not this one. No. Whatever.